I've been watching a few people on Twitch playing driving games, and I saw Euro Truck Simulator 2 on offer for a ridiculously low price, so I bought it. And I thought, I'm going to get to join in with all of this, but then I realised, well, I don't really have a driving wheel, so that seed was sort of sown, but I put it to the back of my mind, I forgot about it. I don't really need it right now. I don't need a driving wheel right now. Then I was in B&M one day, and like that famous meme says, it's like, you walk into B&M and you let it decide what you're getting, not the other way around. So I saw this driving wheel set with pedals and stuff for £60. And I thought, sounds quite a lot. It seems like a good price as a gift to somebody maybe, but and I left it. Then I looked up the prices of entry-level driving wheels, let's say, and just the steering wheel alone, brand new, could cost around about double that. So that made me rethink. I thought, well, that's actually not a bad price then. I'll toy with it. At least when I get a look at it, because I couldn't find anything about it online, which was a bit annoying. So I had to wait until the next time I had a chance to get to B&M, which was a few weeks. So I got there, and my intention was to just take a photo of it so that I could do a bit more research. But when I actually saw it, it was like, and it's got a gear shifter as well. It's only an up-down gear shifter, but still, that was one of my sort of deal makers, if you like, game changers, because I thought to myself, if it's got a gear shifter, I'm going to think about it seriously. And it does. So it's got the steering wheel, it's got the up-down gear shifter, and it comes with pedals as well. Not the full clutch, brake, accelerator, but a brake and accelerator. Because again, I haven't got the space here actually to have that full driving setup with the frame that I've seen, and that could run into £300-400 if you do it seriously, with proper gear sticks, with first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and reverse, and push down to reverse. No, that's going too far. But curiosity got the better of me, and I thought, I've just got to see if this wheel is any good. So, I bought it. And I'll admit, I started feeling very sheepish as I approached the checkout, and had to bite my tongue and resist the urge to shout out, "It's for my kids," because I don't have a kid. But just to point out as well, I've not received any sponsorship or monies from the companies who made this or sold it to me. I just bought this purely for myself to see if it was any good, because curiosity got the better of me. So let's have a look inside the box. As I say, it's a racing wheel. It's got the wheel and the pedals in the box, and I just did this outside because it's a fairly big box and it was sunny, so I thought I may as well. Instruction manual there, which I will look at later, honest. And there we are. I got the wheel, and it's got lots of buttons on it, so that's quite handy. It's got 2 left and right buttons, one on the steering wheel itself, one in the centre column, a D-pad, which I thought was interesting, ABXY, and a gear shifter up and down there, and a couple of extra buttons. And the resistance I thought was quite good, actually, so that made me feel like it was going to be a good wheel. It felt good to turn, if that doesn't sound too strange. Clamps on the bottom, which I'll go into later. And then, of course, the pedals themselves. So they're pedals, a brake and accelerator pedal, and that cable plugs into the back of the steering wheel. Interestingly, I don't know if it works if you plug it straight into the computer. 4 suction pads on the bottom, but I'm using it on carpet. And the pedals press down, so there you go. Only time will tell when I try it with a game whether they're sensitive, but they seem to have a good range of travel, and they seem to be pretty solid and pretty sturdy. So looking forward to trying this out on something. And the manual tells you, it's a good instruction manual. It tells you how to configure as well for the console. So I'm plugging into PC, but for PS4 and Xbox One you need to plug an official controller into the wheel, and then the wheel into the console. I've got one of those really nice but also annoying desks that sort of curves 2 ways, so the actual edge of the desk is curved and it's beveled as well, but the wheel had no problem clamping onto that fairly securely. I think I need to do it a bit tighter, as tests later on will reveal. But yeah, it works pretty well. It's in a good position, it's perfectly usable, and the pedals, again, I haven't got much space in here, that's the problem with the pedals, but that's not the pedal's fault. I like the fact that the board that the pedal sits on extends out forwards rather than extending backwards, because some of the models I saw online, I'd have been stuck there because the pedals would have basically been under my seat, because they couldn't have gone any further back. So I like that. The feet, well, it's pointless having suction cups on carpet, and that made it a little bit slippery, as we'll also see later, but I'm sure I can find a way to fix that, put a brick or a book behind it or something. Of course, if you're attaching it to a proper frame, then that's less of an issue, because as it shows on the box, there's like a Velcro strap that goes with that, and that would hold it steady. But I don't have room for that frame. Again, there's just not physically enough room between my desk and what's behind me to have anything like that, and it would cost more money as well. There is that. So the original plan was to whirl up Euro Truck Simulator 2, but I discovered that I'd bought it, but I hadn't downloaded it. So instead, I went to a game that I had on the computer already, F1 2018. Who'd like to see me playing F1 2018 absolutely terribly? Well, yeah, you're going to, so I'm not really going to take a vote. But here's what happened when I tried out the wheel and the pedals for the first time. I don't even know if this is going to work. I might turn the wheel right and it'll turn left. I've not clue. I don't know if the gear shifter will work. It says it's configured for Xbox, and this wheel says it's compatible with Xbox, PC, PlayStation, and there was another one. Can't remember. It's on the box. So in theory, actually, if it's set up to work with Xbox mode, even though it's plugged into a PC, that's probably okay, because it is also an Xbox controller. As I say, it may go backwards. Right, okay. So the gear shifter's not doing anything yet, but then maybe it's not meant to, because I'm in the pits at the moment. Oh, to look around. I don't have an R. I have a right steering wheel. Yeah, maybe I should have configured this then. A to go to track. Okay, so A is working. But yeah, I don't have an R. I have two buttons marked R, but it's not. Do I do a flying lap? Am I taking over at any point? Okay, yeah. Oh, we're in. Okay. Well, the pedal has some sensitivity. The force feedback's working. I can feel the rumbles. Oh, I don't ignore my steering. Steering, shocking. But I've also never used the steering wheel controller before. I've driven a car. Ooh. Maybe I need to clamp that on a bit tighter. Yeah, right, stop. Oh, maybe if I didn't have my foot in the accelerator, that would help. Oh, heck. What the heck was that? Oh, I see. Right, so the pedals have kind of gone a bit wrong. If I brake, maybe it's meant to do that. Right, so the gear shifter... The gear shifter's currently doing view. Okay, fine. But the rumble's working. The accelerator's working. I'd say I need quite a lot of turn to get the car to go anywhere, but that might just be because it's an F1 car. I think I'd probably get used to it. Okay, so it is brake, but it's also reverse if you hold it down. That's why I ended up flying down the track. Yeah, maybe I should not assume that the accelerator as well is a pedal that I have to push all the way down. This is not a control. Well, it is a controller, but it's not a push button controller. I don't have to have my foot to the floor. I am allowed. Let's see, that's a bit better. Not perfect, but better. I am allowed to actually use the full range of the pedal. And that's actually a good test for it. And it's very responsive. So as I say, I'm not responsive, but the wheel seems perfectly good. 270-degree turning angle. So I am finding that I'm wanting to really turn it, but I think that's because I'm used to my car. I drive a Ford Ka and I love it, but I have been told by people that the steering wheel in that is very, very small. And so I'm inclined, if I'm treating this in any way realistically, to really want to turn the wheel quite far. Whereas if you're used to power steering, I guess I've got power steering, but if you're used to power steering and the wheel, you don't have to turn 3 times. to turn most corners. It's not quite that bad, but most people are used to kind of finger touch steering almost now for slight bends in the road, and yeah, my car doesn't do that. So actually, to be fair to this wheel, if you can see me, full locking it where I don't need to, that's just me not using the wheel properly. That's not the wheel's fault. Yeah, a couple of practice laps, seems to be getting better. Say that, and then I go off the line completely. Oh my gosh, right. I'm getting better in places, not everywhere, right? And I thought actually this snap back to the middle was going to take some getting used to, because it really clicks. Not clicks as in uncomfortably, but if I leave the mouse go, you can leave the wheel go, you can see that it really sort of sticks quite well in the middle. But it's not sticking, but it's like clunks, and I thought that wouldn't really work very well, but it's okay. I guess they have to compensate for the fact it's a small wheel, so it has to give you a little bit more force on that centre spring back so that you actually feel like you've returned to the centre. You haven't got a big proper steering column to give you that feel. Still terrible on that corner. Yeah, I think this is perfectly serviceable for £60. And if I decide I don't want to use the pedals, because this isn't the most comfortable angle to use the pedals at, that's not the pedals' fault, I just haven't got much room. I guess I can always switch, excuse me, switch to using the buttons on the controller, because it's designed to be an Xbox controller, I guess, as well. Works on other things, but it's generic. So it's actually got a D-pad and ABXY and 2 left and right buttons. One set on the steering wheel and one set in the centre section. Yeah. Look. Look away at chat. Look away from the track. So I can just get round this corner. Well, I can if I go ultra slow. Yeah, that's cheating. Sorry, the pedals got stuck again. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put a book in front of these pedals, because it's just annoying. The desk doesn't like locks. Whoa. Yeah, so I need something into these as well, I think. Just to get this tightening properly. I just have to tighten it in between games as well. Yeah. Actually, to be fair to the steering wheel, I did have a go at tightening it up a lot tighter after I finished filming that, and it will go a lot tighter. It will be a lot more secure if you take a bit more time over it. Either that, or I just have to be a lot less vigorous with my full locks. That would help as well. But yeah, really happy with it. I mean, it is my only steering wheel. That's the only disadvantage of this review, is that I can't really do a compare and contrast between a more expensive wheel. That's the only one I own. But if that was the only one I owned, I'd be very happy with it. Oh, I forgot to mention it's compatible with Nintendo Switch as well. That was the one I missed out earlier. Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PS4. But for Xbox and PS4, as I mentioned, you need to plug an official controller into the wheel first, and then plug the wheel into the console itself. And it's got 2 ports on the back. So one of them is to plug the pedals into. One of them was marked controller. I just thought, is that for an optional extra controller? I don't know what that really is. It's not an option if you're on one of those consoles. But for PC, it's just plug and play. I didn't install anything. I didn't install any drivers. But I will have to obviously spend time, as you saw, configuring the controls, because the gear shifter was doing the camera, the left and right wheel and column buttons, they weren't doing anything. A did work, but as you saw in the game, it was asking me to press R. I pressed the only things that could be described as R and nothing happened. The pedals are really responsive, but as I say, I need to sort out something to stop them slipping around. But otherwise, yeah, really happy with that buy. And it just goes to show you don't necessarily have to break the bank. I know that this is one of the more expensive things I've bought into the bracket of things being cheap, but it doesn't break the bank compared to what you'd have to pay for one of the other setups. Very similarly to the webcam video I did, you don't have to spend over £100 or £70-80 on a webcam, when a £20 webcam will do the job just fine, at least for the purposes that you need them for or I need them for, and you can think about upgrading when you can afford it. But in terms of, as I say, having a driving wheel just to be able to play these games, brilliant.